Hello guys, welcome to the second episode of the County360 Podcast. Yeah, today you're with me, Marlon. We are humbled to have in our show Naomi, who is a journalist here in Wasingishu, also the secretary of the Wasingishu Journalists Association, and also a gender and environmental focused journalist. So basically today what we are talking about, because you've heard she's a leader. So basically what we're talking about is politics. We're going to focus on the political aspect of the step that was taken by the Gen Zs in trying to register each other as voters. So we're going to focus on, will it bring the change that we are pushing towards, or is it just kwa Kiswahili tunasema ni msimu? Is it just a PR yenye itapita? Is it seasonal? Yeah. So Naomi, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes. So my name is Naomi Cheruiyot, the way you stated, and I'm the secretary of the Wasingishu Journalists Association. I'm happy to be part of this discussion, even though I'm not a politician, or like I'm not so much in politics, but I will try. We will do and discuss some of the issues.
Yeah, like we had said, she's a leader. We're not doing the in-depth politics. We're just being logical, trying to bring logic according to ourselves and following up with the initiatives that were, or the steps that have been taken in the previous and ended up not bearing fruits as expected. You know, there's a difference between mimi nimeenda kupiga kura, si ndio, na nimejiandikisha kura. Unaona? So there's that difference. So to you Naomi, the youths wameamua tunaingia hapo, let's register each other as voters, let's push the numbers. We are targeting 15 million, si ndio?
Yeah.
So do you think the 15 million watakuja kwa ballot papers when the time comes?
Thank you. First, there is one thing, or there is two different things between, we have the 15 million by saying, is the number realistic really, or it's just we are saying it for the sake of we have the numbers to back up a presidential candidate to be able to be the president coming 2027. And also there is one thing, do we have the data with us? Because if we are talking about the 15 million to be voting, are the 15 million registered? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Number two, we see like in Nairobi, they teamed up and came in large numbers in Nairobi. But now you look at the rest of the countries in this country. We have 47 counties, and we find only Nairobi have come up with the large numbers. What of the rest of the 46 counties? Are the youths really going to make the 15 million they're talking about?
And now, when registering the 15 million, walisema their focus is not for the presidential votes, but rather for these other votes, the seats, because walisema the change comes from down. For us to change up, we have to come from down to Kipanda. Now it's like transforming the bottom-up agenda into now a youth-led initiative. So, 15 million, okay, wanna register. Let's say the number is realistic. Wame register. Now we're going back to wanataka kutoa MP or a certain MCA or a certain governor. Now the conflict of interest comes in. Yeah? The conflict of interest comes in. Mimi ndio na lead these youths into waende wa vote. Wakuja wajiandikishe tutoe mse fulani. And then I'm attracted, like it happened with Kasmol. You know, focusing on these 15 million and their initiatives za vijana zenye wanafanya sahi, I'm also a youth. But what kills me or what demoralizes me when it comes to now looking there is that vijana wana, like, it's a trend. Wanaanzisha trend, then when it goes, it goes. they forget about it. Like the maandamano thing, ikaenda. People died. Yes, we remember them. May they rest in peace. We remember them. We are focused. We want to bring the change. But are all youths, like we lost some of us into these political parties like the Kasmuel people. So, to you, as I cannot, I can gap you in youths, alafu pia juu umenishinda na miaka kidogo naweza kugap kwa advisors. Not elders.
I'm not yet an elder.
But you are in between. Sisi, most mguu yako kubwa iko kwetu. And then hiyo kakidole kadogo kako kwa advisors wa vijana. So what is your, like, how do you feel the youth should uphold their initiatives of going towards the 2027 elections? Because I can say by the look of things, if unaona pia politicians, they have started going into personal conflicts, so it's going to be so tough.
You see, we come a youth, we have to team up and do this thing if we want to win. But one thing we have to remove is the seasonal thing, because we usually have, we do as a movement, like it comes and then it goes. But we have to maintain. If we want to be somewhere there, if we want to change the member of parliament, for example, we have to team up, come up with the changes themselves. We need the changes, and then we see how to have the changes. We don't have to like mop up at once. Maybe, for example, for now we mop up in registering, but or applying the votes, the voting, whatever. But when it comes to time of voting, we find ourselves being locked out by, most of us say, no, why should I even vote? And of course, the former MP, for example, or the MP who was there previously will be voted in. And why should I even vote? But by exercising your democratic rights or the electoral process will save. Because you see, we find ourselves as youth, maybe we have to remove this season thing. We mop up. When it comes to the time, we have to change. You see, we become reluctant.
But you are talking about now ending the season thing. Naanza kuona like, because we youths tunafall so more on trends. Na feel hiyo time ya kupiga kura, something ita pop up like, mbona tupige kura na washapita, and then we stay at home because that's now the trend. Mbona tupige na washapita.
Kupiga kura is something funny, by the way, and also having or being in leadership, it needs numbers. So if we don't vote, of course we will not do the changes. So we have to vote so that we can do the changes. Because if we say there is no need for me voting, because we know wanapita because we don't have the numbers that to may vote. We've not voted. So where will we find the numbers? If ourselves we've not voted, so that we can have the change. So it will remain the same, because most of us refuse to vote, or say I can't vote due to the trend that has been going on. But if we change our minds, we change the mindset of, if we have the numbers, we will vote in, or we will change who is going to come to the seat.
Yeah. So imekuwa ikihappen the rains. You know, talking about politics, like everything sahi imekuwa politicized into now. Everything is becoming an agenda heading towards the 2027 general elections. Rains zimenyesha, we are told MP afanyi kazi, governor afanyi kazi, sijui senator afanyi kazi. I also saw the other day kwa news a woman akisema sijui tulienda south Mgiringo, akatuambia yeye si wa huko, tukaenda north akasema si wa huko, tukaenda west, tukaenda somewhere in Kisumu because there was those floods. So that tells you that this initiative inaweza pushiwa in towns. What about the village?
That is now where the problem is, because we might, or it might be pushed in towns or big cities. But if you find that in villages or in our villages, we come up from different setups, and you find most of the youth maybe who are within the village, they are going to be influenced by their parents, and you might find them they were like tuko pamoja, but when it comes to the real time, you hear what your parent is saying or is telling you or she's telling to you that usipo vote fulani na fulani tutafanyaje, usipompatia kura ya ukipeleka MCA mbali tutakuwa tunapata basari, hii barabara yetu itakuwa imeharibika. You see, but we don't see maybe the problems that zimekuwa pale kila na wakati, but because uko na, let me say what, uko karibu sana na huyo mtu ambao utaki atoke hapo, even if ako mbaya ama afanyi vile inafaa, you find yourself being influenced by your parents, by your colleagues, by your peers, by your neighbors about it.
Unapeangwa 2000 kwa basari, mzazi anakwambia hiyo 2000 ni bana, unajua wanatusaidianga, tunapunguza school fees na ni 50 lakini wao tunalipa 48 juu MCA ni jirani na anatupeanga. Unajua kina jamaa wapewi na jamaa analipa 15,000 au analipa 50,000.
You see, so we are still being influenced. That is why I said earlier, we have to change our mindset. If we don't change our mindset, if we don't come up with a list of changes that we want to make as a youth, this thing will never come. Yeah, will never come to be, because if we don't change, if we don't start from the grassroots, let's take an example of an MCA. An MCA leads a ward. For example, in that ward, you find drainage 0, you find roads 0, you find water 0, you find all those things 0. Maybe only one sector ameweza but no, you even don't find electricity coming from those people. Mostly it comes from the national government, the MPs, whatever. So you find maybe one sector, maybe really amesaidia watu kapata electricity, but the rest are 0. So if you don't come with the problems or the needs and you arrange them and you go for the change, it will never happen. Because if let's say, for example, the ward administrator, the MCA gives us bursary, right? But the rest are 0. So tutakuwa tumeenda wapi? It's only bursary that we get from him maybe, but the rest are 0. So we have to tell ourselves the truth here. We have to come up with the causes or the needs that we need. That it should be balanced in a way. For the better of the ward, for example, it should be balanced. Because if it's only education and the rest are, we are not heading somewhere.
Yeah. Unajua the reason why nimesema like electricity, there are some wards that MCA furnish anything, but because now the national government, the rural urban electrification whatever, goes through, ikapata watu wanahitaji stima ikaeka, and now the literacy of the people around, niliwaletea stima, the MCA says that and they are like, yeah, alifanya ili nikula pesa mingi in real sense. Hata hii basari, they are not making anything out of it. Unapata basari anasema kila shule na sponsor only 10 students. Ndio. Na all students itakuwa na wapea 1500, na wekea 1500 kwa school fees.
1500. Because
of the literacy of the parents. Alafu wale wenye ni werevu wa hiyo mtaa wametoka there in these urban centers, wametoka Ushago wako town. So wameachia wazazi huko ni kwenu, sasa sisi tunatafuta kwetu.
Yeah.
Unaona? So that brings the ignorance, yeah. Most people when you push the agenda huku, their homes places ziko, their youths are still influenced by the parents.
Yeah.
Their youths huko bado wana, they are going through like,
assume they are still under their parents in making decisions.
Yeah, they are still, their decisions are still made. Until next week, remember to comment hapo tuambie, do you think this agenda itasimama or is it a seasonal thing, mtu anatafuta trend? Yeah, because sisi youths huwa tunachase hizi numbers. So are we looking for the trend or is it genuine? Yeah, this is Hubs Media. Remember to follow our social media platforms at Hubs Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Alafu pia like, subscribe and share. I was Marlon.